The characters are rolling on their own center pivot that I made for movement, so they are not rolling on their own axis. I thought they looked more fun this way. I enjoyed making Claude. I think she has the most detail of all the Allies books I have made. I made a small drawing of Deermouth on the Cornifer map. In Era's case, I did not care if her cape went through his head because it wouldn't show in the camera shot, unless you're watching this video, so you got me. The False Knight design was a lot of fun to make, and I really like the finished model. Originally, I made the Hollow Knight with both arms, and when I finished animating him, I realized he only had one arm, so I could dub the other one. When I started this project, I thought that Silksong would be released before this remake was finished, and that was a year and a half ago. Hopefully, it will launch next year. Husk Miner and Myla share the same body and dig in animation, but the textures have a slight difference. Husk Sentry also shares the same body and even textures with Lancet Sentry, but in this case all the animations are different for each one. And of course, Lancet Sentry also have a different weapon and wings. It was also more fun to animate compared to Husk Sentry. One of my favorite animations without a doubt. The Mantis Lord looks so deadly, being so fast and acrobatic. The way that Mantis Youth attacks with his stinger is so smooth. I like a lot how that animation turned out. Moskin was planned to attack but ended up being simply crushed with a giant boulder. Poor little bug. Myla had a texture on her helmet that the Husk Miner did not have, and I made it exclusively to differentiate them. I used the old version of the Hollow Knight texture on Nosk's head because I wanted to include that version, even as an Easter egg. The only animation that I created for Radiance is the one that plays when she appears. It was very difficult due to the large amount of wings. Shroomal Warrior literally breaks his neck while rolling because it won't appear in the camera shot unless you're watching this video. Sly is so cool, just look at him. He's so tiny and has giant eyes. This Soul Warrior does not look like its original in-game representation. I made it much taller than the real one, because I was not looking at a reference at the time I made it, and it ended up looking pretty different. Spiny Husk even had animations for walking and shooting in storms. It's a shame I forgot to include him in a scene for the trailer. It was very difficult to fit Stalking the Vault on his stage because he's so big. The last stag, one of my favorite allies in the game. I really like it how I did him here. Since Umo does not turn even if it is hurt, its thunders are flat because it's always looking straight ahead, rotating around the core of the jellyfish. It was hard to catch it looking Sote's eyes, but I think it turned out well in the end. I created a second texture for the night after I figured out how to do UVs properly, and this second version is much better than the first attempt. Thank you so much for watching this character presentation video. If you have any suggestions to improve it, please leave a comment down below. And thank you for putting up with my poor pronunciation. See you next time.